Welcome to this CARES lesson on empathy. Hopefully you are already in your AB partners. With your AB partner, you're going to have an opportunity to share how you like your toast. Here's your question. How do you like your toast? Think about how you like your toast and why. When your teacher gives you the signal, share with your partner. You can use the sentence frame, I like my toast to look like number blank because blank. Then be prepared to share with the group. Empathy. Are you empathetic? In this lesson, you will have the opportunity to understand empathy, practice ways to be more understanding, and reflect on the effects of empathetic listening. Teachers, if you have not already shared the Pear Deck with your students, please do so now. Please ensure the Pear Deck is set to instructor paced. Here are the essential questions you will be able to answer at the conclusion of the lesson. What does it mean to put yourself in someone else's shoes? How empathetic am I? How can I better show empathy towards others? What is empathy? Can you think of a time, maybe during an argument with a friend, or when someone you liked hurt your feelings, when you wished someone understood how you felt? You were hoping for empathy. Who can tell us the definition of empathy that we reviewed in our last CARES lesson? We are now going to watch a short video on empathy. While we are watching the video, please keep these questions in mind and take notes if you would like to. 1. What is the definition of empathy in the video? Do we need to change or add to our definition that we shared from our last lesson? 2. How can you take the perspective of someone else? 3. Can you describe a time where someone showed empathy to you?
Hello! Today we're going to discuss taking the perspective of others and empathy. First, let's start by understanding the two terms. Taking the perspective of others can be described as having the ability to understand how a situation appears to another person. Empathy can be described as having the ability to understand the thoughts, feelings, or emotions of someone else. Sometimes, empathy can also be described as having sympathy or even being compassionate about someone or something. When taking the perspective of someone else, it is important to listen and be attentive to the information they are sharing with you. This will help you understand their reactions and understand why they may be feeling the way that they are. With perspective taking, it is important to understand that we all may view or see things differently, and that's okay. For example, imagine going to a movie with your family. You might be there because you really want to see the new film. Your mom might go because she really likes the popcorn and snacks. And your dad might go because he enjoys taking naps. Or think of a time when you were playing a game and you lost. You might feel sad or upset, but your mom might feel happy because no matter what, you at least tried your best. An example of empathy could be feeling the same amount of excitement as a friend when they tell you they got a new puppy for Christmas or received an A on their math test. Empathy can also be feeling or showing the same amount of worry or compassion when a classmate has to move to another state or when a family member loses their job.
Here are the discussion questions. Take a moment to think about what you learned and be ready to share with your partner and the class. First, you'll share with your AB partners, and then once everyone's had a chance to share in partners, you'll share out as a whole class. Do you think you're an empathetic person? On this Pear Deck screen, respond to each statement in the text box labeled, "Are you empathetic?" Read the item, circle yes if the statement describes you, or no if it does not. Think about your results from the last slide. If you answered mostly yes, you probably do a good job of showing empathy towards other people. The statements you answered no to are the things you could do to be more empathetic. As a class, we're going to use the Are You Empathetic activity to discuss how you can show empathy towards others by answering the following questions. Number 1. One way you can try to imagine what it feels like being in someone else's shoes is to ask yourself, how would I feel in this situation? How else can you try to understand how others feel? When you listen to others, making eye contact, not interrupting the speaker, and asking follow-up questions can show that you're genuinely trying to understand what they're going through. What other behaviors might show someone that you are being an empathetic listener? Number 3, what can you do to be more attuned to other people's feelings? For instance, when you talk to your friends, how many you questions do you ask compared to the number of I statements you make? And question number 4, how else can you show empathy toward others? Scenario practice. Now you will practice what you've learned about being empathetic. Pair up with your classmate, your AB partner, read through the scenarios. You can use a link to access them. Select two, and then discuss what's happening. The questions you will answer is, what are the characters feeling? How do their actions and words show this? How are they not being empathetic? Next, role play the situations using strategies that show empathy towards one another. Think about all that you've learned today. We will use this information to have a class reflection and debrief based on the following questions. 1. How can you work on seeing a situation from a classmate's perspective? 2. Has there been a time when you were around someone who was happy or mad? How did you know what they were feeling? How did that make you feel? 3. Mother Teresa, who spent most of her life helping the poorest, sickest people of India, once said, I want you to be concerned with your next door neighbor. Do you know your next door neighbor? How does this quotation apply to empathy? Now it's time to conclude the lesson. Here's your exit ticket. Share 3 things you learned about practicing empathy. Draw a star next to the one you feel most comfortable practicing. Using the Pear Deck slide, write one answer in each of the colored boxes. Don't forget the star.